So, as we begin to enter into the practice, let's begin by just settling into a very comfortable and easeful posture. Whether you're laying down or perhaps maintaining a seated position, just ensuring that the position you've chosen is conducive to a meditative state. And slowly transitioning into a position of stillness in your own time, in your own way. And spending a few moments just landing into the body, into the practice. And if it feels supportive for you, you can go ahead and close the eyes now. Or if you prefer, just keeping them open with a soft gaze, about 3 feet in front of you. And through the means of the intuition, just beginning to explore your surroundings. Dropping into the feeling tone of the environment, the ground beneath you and the space around you. Noticing this feeling of being held by the ground, by the earth. And allowing this feeling of support, of love to permeate the practice. And as we transition deeply into the meditation, let's begin by locating the breath and inhaling to the count of 6. Breathing out through the mouth. Breathing in just like this, slowly, deeply, lovingly. And as you breathe out, perhaps releasing a sound, a sigh, anything that feels natural to you. And just continuing to breathe in and out like this a few more times. Going at your own pace. Gently awakening the breath and its connection to the body, to the moment. And then allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm, a softer flow. And noticing how the breath feels now within the body. And using this practice as a tool to scan the posture, just ensuring that there's a feeling of relaxation in the feet, the knees, the sit bones, softening the belly, the shoulders, the fingers, widening the collarbone, opening up the heart space, and releasing any unnecessary holding in the jawline, the mouth, the cheekbones, the eyebrows, and the forehead. And knowing that throughout this practice, within this container, you are held, grounded, and completely supported. From this place of spaciousness, beginning to incline the attention inward, and just taking a few moments to explore the mind, the heart space, taking the temperature of the inner environment, and simply acknowledging how you're feeling in this moment. Allowing any emotions, any sensations to remain present throughout the practice, knowing that there's no need to push those experiences away, to block them out. Simply giving them permission to fully express themselves by allowing them to exist. And to support a feeling of groundedness within this practice, beginning to locate the breath, but this time noticing where in the body the breath feels most present. Perhaps in the abdomen, the chest region, the nostrils, and gently placing the attention there. Noticing how the entire body begins to expand as you breathe in, and how the muscles begin to surrender as you breathe out. A subtle kind of release. Continuing to receive the breath in this way, just as it is. And instead of trying to control or manipulate the experience, noticing what it would be like to trust the breath, trusting the body, trusting the practice. Following the expansion of the body each time you breathe in, and resting on the relaxation of the muscles as you breathe out. And seeing if you can notice the tiny space of stillness, of silence, in between each breath, between the inhalation and the exhalation, and noticing how that space manifests within the body, where it manifests. Knowing that there's no need to think about the breath or to get caught up in thought, in concept, and noticing what it would feel like to rest the attention within the sensory undertone of the breath, how it feels to breathe. Settling into its expression on the spine, the collarbone, in between the fingers and the toes. What does this feel like? Noticing how the breath begins within the abdomen as you inhale, resting at the chest and settling into the nostrils, and how this pattern is reversed as you exhale, beginning within the nostrils and resting in the belly. Taking a moment to check in with the mind, noticing if the mind has wandered, if it's lost in thought or someplace else, knowing that that's completely natural. It's the primitive state of the mind to wonder, to explore. Spending a few moments noticing what the mind is up to, where it's wandered off to. Acknowledging the presence of this object, whether it's a thought, a memory, a sound. Just allowing its presence to be completely known. And with a sense of compassion and of firmness, slowly redirecting the attention back toward the breathing body, back toward the breath. And in moments like this, when you notice that the mind has wandered and you choose to bring it back, rejoicing in the strengthening of the mind and the healing of the practice. If you notice the mind trying to align the experience with expectation, with a desired outcome, noticing what it would feel like to release this expectation, releasing any preconceived notions, and simply inviting the mind to interact with the experience with a fresh perspective, a curious, innocent mind. And in this way, with this outlook, letting yourself be surprised by the practice, by your interaction with the breath, the body, and the mind. Gently checking in with the jawline, the shoulders, the fingers and the toes. Just ensuring that there's no unnecessary holding. If noticing the presence of tension, of tightness, just beginning to breathe deeply into these parts of the body. In this way, allowing the body to know that in this moment it is safe, it is held. If need be, spending a few more moments within these parts of the body, and then gently returning back to the chest, the abdomen, the nostrils, And from this place of open-heartedness, of stable, kind awareness, taking a moment to bring to mind all those communities affected by this current climate. And as a gesture of offering, of kindness, dedicating this practice to their well-being and safety, silently repeating, "May they be well." May they be joyful. May they be free from suffering. And may their lives unfold with ease. Inhaling deeply to the count of 6. This time, very gently breathing out through the nose. Releasing any and all sensations associated with the breath. And intuitively expanding the awareness to begin to include the surface beneath you. Once again, tapping into this feeling of being held by the ground, by the earth. Gently starting to notice the space around you. Slowly incorporating scent, sound, sensation from the temperature of the room. And as you continue to immerse yourself back into the external environment, gently wiggling the fingers and the toes, swaying the body from side to side, stretching out the arms and the legs, and whenever you're ready, slowly beginning to lift the gaze and open up the eyes. Taking a few moments to settle back into the space and returning to a seated and grounded position whenever you're ready. Before we transition out of this session and back into the rest of our days, does anybody have any questions or would anybody like to share any reflections on that experience? If so, you can unmute yourself and start speaking, or you can also chat if that feels more supportive. Okay, I don't think we have any questions today. If anyone would like any more support with resources, with recorded meditations, please feel free to message me your email address. And yeah, so the thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the session, that was the integration period after the meditation. Yes, exactly. The integration period. So if anybody would like any more resources on just how to integrate one's meditation practice into day-to-day life, I can send over some journaling prompts and blog posts and things that might be more supportive for that. Just message me privately with your email address. But just a quick note on that, one of the best ways really to translate a lot of this experience into embodied action is through journaling. It's putting a concept and language to something that can feel so transitory and ephemeral, like thoughts and emotions and sensations. And you don't need to go into an analytical mindset. You don't need to analyze the experience, but even just spending 5 minutes describing your experience. It felt this, it wasn't like this, I expected it to be like this. That can be really helpful. And of course, like, a lot of teachers are saying now, and something that is hugely, hugely helpful now is that everything that we're doing is a practice, which means that A, there's always room for growth. B, that we won't always be aligned with our truest and kindest aspirations. And C, that there's always potential to learn. So if we can keep that in mind, it doesn't feel so rigid or disappointing when we don't feel calm after meditation, or we may feel worse sometimes. That's totally natural. So I'm just reading some of these messages, but I will send over the emails. Any questions, please feel free to always reach out. And I teach every Monday at 3 p.m. So please come back if that feels supportive. But if not, I'm wishing you hopefully an easeful week, somewhat lighter. And I look forward to practicing with you soon. Thank you. Take care.